There is no power for change greater than a community discovering what it cares about.
Purple?
In case nobody has told you that you appreciate it. In case you haven't got your flowers. Welcome to the Rose Garden.
Alright, this is your boy Lawrence Ray, also as LRW3. This is the Rose Garden, and today, man, y'all seen him 1,000 times. Introduce yourself, let them know who you are, man.
1,001 times now. Trey Payne, aka DJ SB. You're on the Rose Garden, man. LRW3.
Yeah, that's all good. Come on my platform, don't you know my name, bro.
Ah,
it's cool.
man.
I'm not gonna hold that.
Here we go.
I'm not gonna hold that.
Here we go.
Anyway, before we jump into these questions and let people know the great things you do, man, kind of give a brief overview about yourself, man.
Yeah, so of course I'm from Little Georgia, Warner Robins. Went off and played football at Georgia State. Now I'm currently on an insurance agency and I'm a DJ. Those are the two things that I employ for myself right now.
Okay. So, what made you go to Georgia State? Did you go on a scholarship or like?
I did go because it was free.
That's good. That's right there.
Yeah, I had a handful of scholarships coming out of high school. Georgia State made the most sense because honestly, God kind of forced me to go because when they first offered me, I was like, no, I ain't going to Georgia State at all. But we had a couple coaching staff changes at Georgia State. I also toured the country. And then came signing day. It was close to home. I was in a city where I could go do business. I never wanted to initially play football long term. It was something that was just like a means to an end. And Atlanta was a business city, so that's why I decided to go there.
Why you didn't want to play football long term?
Oh no, my body can't take that. Even now, football was never my love. Baseball was my first true love, but football was easy. It was a full scholarship, so it was free, and it was convenient. What I mean by convenient, like you could go play football anywhere, anytime, and there's tons of scholarships versus when you go play baseball. It's a little more political and it's just harder. I'm not gonna say it's a harder deal to get into.
That makes sense. You being modest though, of course. You coming out of middle Georgia. First off, Georgia is a football state. You trying to be modest like you weren't that good, man. Like you weren't that deal. It's the reason you was on the scholarship. You were a linebacker, weren't you?
Yeah.
So you want to try to act all modest. So at Georgia State, what about at Georgia State as far as football goes? Are you a starter or?
Yeah, I was registered my freshman year, but then I started 4 years after that. Was on the first bowl team at Georgia State. Was part of the first winning bowl team there. Was an all-conference player 1 year. I held my own. Had my shot. When you get, it sounds funny when you get 23 years old and your knees hurt, and anybody that's played ball will tell you, when your knees hurt, your ankles and hands don't function the right way, you'd be like, man, do I really want to try to do this for another 7-8 years? And it just made more sense to go chase a business dream that's going to make the same amount of money.
That makes sense, yeah, because you definitely had the talent. So basically what you're saying is, instead of after college, you could have probably, I think you're talented enough to could have went to the league, but I mean, there's other leagues, so you didn't chase the professional ranks or even coach, because most people go coaching, you ain't want to do none of that.
So, I did have my shots at the league, teams calling, the tryouts, things of that sort, it just didn't make sense. And coaching is still something I want to get into, but they're just, out of school, there's not enough money in it. You can talk about being a grad assistant, which is cool. Go to grad school, get a graduate degree if that's what you're into. But when you talk about like fresh out of college, trying to go coach somewhere making $30,000 or $24,000 a year, and then you are gone for half the year, like nah, that's something I'll probably do like maybe later on in life once I got just money just sitting somewhere.
That makes sense. All right, so let's talk about your business, man. First off, if they've seen any episode, they should already know what you do. But since this is about you, let them know your business and how long you've been in business.
So I've got the Trey Payne Allstate agency. I opened the insurance agency this year. I've been in the insurance industry. Most people know me since I came out of college. I love the industry. I love what it does for me and my family. I love what it does for other families. I tell the story all the time. I got into insurance. So when I left Georgia State, everybody leaving school is like, what are you gonna go do for a living? And I went on a ton of interviews, had just a ton of people wanted to see my resume and wanted to hire me, but I didn't want to go work corporate America. I wanted to go somewhere where I could still compete, like I did as an athlete, and also make more money than the normal person just sitting in an office job. And I ran into this young white guy that was, running the agency. He was a cool dude and lived lifestyle in his early 30s. We did my interview. He had like this Santa sweater. Those holidays, he had a Santa sweater with Santa's ass out. And he was on a hoverboard. Yeah, I kid you not. He'd come, on a hoverboard, like in the office. And he's like, oh, we had an interview today? And so I'm like, yeah, man. He's like, oh, my bad. Well, come on. And, most times I like kind of throw people off, but I went to work for him, and he taught me the business, and I progressed since then. And I wouldn't, finally got a chance to open my own agency, which I'm currently hiring. So anybody has an insurance license or, looking to look for some work, definitely get at me. But I love, seeing what it does for people. And then when you talk about people of color and minorities, the education behind it, because most of the times it's just a bill we pay. But I've literally sat and written $1 million checks to people that have passed away, or people that have had like accidents, and I've seen what it's done for the lives. And so I'm really huge on the education portion of it.
Absolutely. I know you said you're hiring. Now, what positions are you hiring for?
I'm hiring for salesmen, salespeople. I don't want no customer service. You can be the sweetest person in the world, but I want to hire somebody that's a salesperson. I want to hire somebody that's like myself, somebody that always wanted a better life, somebody that's got some hustle in them, because you can always introduce them in a way to make money. And in the insurance industry, I don't have to say it. Anybody could literally open, their door and go outside, and you've never seen a broke insurance agent. And it's tons of money in it, and it's not something you have to go slave at. You don't have to be in here working from 12 to 12. You don't have to break a sweat. You don't have to lift you don't have to drive no fork. You don't have to work hard. It's just, you have to be you, and honestly, just put some good energy into it, and you go do what you want to do in life.
Like that. Do you currently have any employees, or this gonna be your first hire?
No, I've got 4 employees currently. Who are working their tails off, but I'm still looking to expand and grow, because that's what that's how I was introduced to the business, and I look forward to paying it tenfold.
Gotcha. So was your business always successful, or are there moments where you just sat back like, I might be over my head?
Every day. I don't care how successful you are. If you don't, I know me personally, I look at this thing like, man, I can go do something else and I don't have to, it's not that it's hard or it's failing. There's different stresses that you take upon. There's a different level of mental stress that nobody can see. Me and my mentor, we talk, you can take a factory worker or somebody that's a mechanic, and you can see the dirty hands, and you can see the sweat, and you get, you working hard today. Well, as an insurance agent, no, I don't sweat. No, my hands are not dirty. But there's a level of mental stress of paying for this, or are these goals going to be met, so I can feed their families as well as my family. And that's a different type of stress, because unfortunately now it's not just myself I have to feed and clothe. I'm responsible for 4 paychecks, to where if the money's not there, they're looking at me. And so it's a good stress, but every day you like, do I, is this what I wanted to do, or can I go do something else where it's not as stressful? Can I, is my peace of mind at times is what's challenged?
Yeah, people don't, because I'm in insurance as well. People don't realize that does get stressful. You got to sit there, look at demands for people swearing that their life will never be the same. You got to talk to these attorneys who, of course, they're going to swear their clients never the same. Then you got to be, for lack of a term, you got to be the asshole to be like, I look through the medical records, man. They're going to be fine.
Yeah, facts.
So, that's a little disconnect most people don't realize. So, what made you choose the insurance business? What's the pros and cons of it for somebody who was maybe thinking about getting in there?
The sole reason why I chose it and stuck with it is the lifestyle. Because people sit there and tell you they love insurance. No, I don't necessarily love it. I'll talk about it.
Nobody likes insurance.
Yeah, let's be honest here. But the lifestyle, I could go to work, I could work from home, I could don't have a laptop on my cell phone, I can work anywhere in the country. I could golf 4 times a week when I choose to, and anybody knows me knows I probably do it. I could go fish. I could, if somebody in my family needs something, I can leave and literally go. I don't have to ask for time off or sick days, or I don't have to say, hey, can I, take a lunch break? Now, cons of the industry. One, you have to talk about insurance, which nobody wants to talk about. That's probably the hardest thing. Even though it's super easy because everybody needs it. car and home insurance is something that everybody needs, so everybody has it, so that's a big pro. But at the same time, once it's situated, nobody wants to talk about it. Yeah. Nobody wants to go and talk about the insurance bill. And unfortunately, what you also learn in this business is your friends and family don't want to do business with you a lot of times, even when you can help them out. You know, because it's usually like well, I don't want to, give you my money, or I don't want you knowing what I pay for this, and
or they don't want you to know their personal business most of the time.
Which sure. I mean, I years ago I got over the trying to help everybody. It's like, hey, I help enough people. If I help you, cool. If I don't, you're comfortable with your situation. But I tell anybody, if you're gonna work a sales job at all, because it's a sales job. If you're gonna work a sales job, there's no better industry than insurance. People, when you get into it, we should always say it's recession proof and it's depression proof. Well, they tell you that stuff to get you in it. But I will say, since last year during the pandemic, I lived through it, and I watched myself help grow other businesses, and I watch other insurance agencies thrive and hire. It's truly something that is pretty recession proof and depression proof, because you still have to have it.
You still have to have it, like, especially like I said, I'm in insurance too. Like, they would definitely hire them because they're making money, because you still gotta have it. Even like when everything was closed, you're not driving nowhere.
You still paying for car insurance
every month. Like, you gotta pay. So that is a very smart industry to go into, because other things, like when things may not be there, you might go without it. You ain't got a choice unless you're gonna sell your car.
Unless you're gonna sell your car, if you got a house and you like, if you got a mortgage on it, they don't even let you go without the insurance. So it's like, and nowadays, as your apartment shop, they force you to have renter's insurance.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's like,
another thing.
You have to have it.
You're gonna have some form. So I know you did say you specialize in auto and home. Is that the reason that you chose it over like maybe health insurance or things like that?
Auto, home, and life insurance is where I specialize in my bread and butter. Health insurance is something I thought about. So when I first got into insurance, I used to go fishing with a buddy of mine, and there was this agent who lived in the neighborhood, and he had a nice house, nice car, stuff like that. And he used to show me his paychecks trying to get me to come work for him, but he sold health insurance. So I'm like, I don't want to go talk about health insurance all day long. Like, it's not something I want to do. But it's what opened my eyes. Seeing those health insurance paychecks is what opened my eyes to go look at insurance. And I just found that auto and home and life insurance is easier to talk about than somebody's health insurance. Like, health insurance, great money, it's a great thing. It's just, it wasn't easy for me to talk about.
Not for you.
Yeah, it just wasn't for me. Nothing against it.
Especially with other options.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So I know you said you managed in some of the top agencies, in Georgia. Is anyone you want to mention or thank?
When my guy sees the interview, he's gonna know who it is. But I managed one of the top Geico agencies in Georgia. I came out of one of the top State Farm agencies in Georgia. That's not something I'm just saying. It's like, you can go, we run the numbers. I've been in offices that produce well over $500,000 a month in premium, which anybody in the insurance industry know that's not just something that you just flip the light switch on and do.
Yeah.
I managed agencies with 20 employees in it, which in an insurance office like that's small owned, that's not something you see on a daily basis. I learned from some of the top guys that are in the industry. And even before that, Stephen Bush, who you had on Talk to Me. Yeah, when I was in college, he was one of the guys that put the insurance bug in my ear.
You must want somebody who know what they're talking about.
Man,
like, Stephen know what he's talking about.
Come on, he's one of the guys that was like, hey, like, go do this. He would constantly put in my ear while I was in school, and and open my eyes to it. And even when I got out of school, me and him would talk and stuff like that. And he is a guy who knows inside and out.
He knows inside and out. He just starts saying stuff. You ain't got no clue what he's talking about, but it sounds good.
Fuck around, educate a 40-year-old, somebody's been in business 40 years, fuck around, educate them. Which means it's great. But it's guys like that, it's like, when you get in the industry, it's like, when you have people like that, you're like, yeah, let me stay in this. Because one, of course, you see the money, but you see like the way you're able to help people and to change lives.
I like that. So I got a question. It wasn't a question, but I just thought about it. So, of course, you're from Middle Georgia. Your office is in Atlanta. What made you go to the Atlanta market over maybe like a Middle Georgia? Just
when I went out to school, I stayed there. Again, I found it's very easy. It's much easier to find strangers to support you than it is to find friends and family. That's just.
I mean, and to be fair, Atlanta's bigger.
It's a bigger market.
Bigger opportunity.
I would honestly love to come home. It's cheaper to live down here.
You hear about every other day?
Like, yeah, man, I'm here every day. But like when you talk about growth and like a mindset of like where you want to see yourself in 5-10 years, I didn't see it in the Middle Georgia area. But I will say this, there are things where I'm trying to put in the works for me to come home or at least have some sort of business here. I would love to open an insurance office in Middle Georgia in a few years to provide the jobs. And there's plenty of business to be written here, and my face card is decent in this area. It is pretty decent. So I mean, business, it's in my plans. Just got to figure out the logistics behind it.
Makes sense. All right. Anything else you want to add as far as on the business side before we move to the next topic?
If you have any insurance questions, you can always ask. That's always I tell anybody with insurance. Ask. It doesn't have to be necessarily me or something, but just ask the person that you're paying every month. When you have questions on insurance, ask, because that's where a lot of people go wrong. That's where a lot of people find they got these messed up bills. They don't get claims covered because they never ask. They just go and think they know everything and go do it. So if you're having a question, just ask somebody.
I feel you about the claims because I handle like lawsuits. So people like to hit me when they getting sued. They be like, damn, I ain't know. You probably should ask me. Should ask me about 6 months ago before you took off half that car. Like, I don't know what to say to you now.
It's too late now.
You might want to start putting things in somebody else's name. Man. That's the only thing I can tell you at that point. But let's jump to the next topic, man, because of course you do insurance. That's awesome. That's great. But you're also one of the hardest working DJs around here now, man. You doing everything from, I see you at big shows, I see you at events, you on the rap sheet, man. You're one of the fastest rising DJs in the area, man. Just speak to how you even got into DJing.
So DJing was something I've always wanted to do, but never had the money to do. That's just like the honest truth. So of course in college, and anybody with Georgia State that knows, me and my roommates had the craziest house parties for probably 2 years straight. I'm talking we caved floors in. We had the craziest house parties.
Was this on campus or like y'all had your own
on campus and off campus?
How was y'all not kicked out? Like, bro.
We got kicked out of the door.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I still you can go ask the dean of students at Georgia State. You can go ask anybody at Georgia State. I still hold a record for the crazy, like one of the largest on-campus house parties.
You definitely deserve to be kicked out, though, just for the record.
Yeah, they put me on. They went to the football coach like, hey, he got to go.
Like, your man's tripping, yo.
I'm
He
talking.
came floors in.
And if you ever been to Georgia State, you ever been in a loft, we probably had 200 people in a loft dorm room, which 200 people don't sound like a lot, but if you ever been in a dorm room.
Have you ever been in a dorm room, period? There's no reason 200 people. Even the biggest dorm room you ever been in should not have 200 people.
Woo! Yeah, so, but I mean, every time we was at a party, I'm always one that had the aux cord. It was always like, hey, I had to get an aux. So, I always wanted to DJ, but I never had the money. Well, I won't say that. I never had the want to put the money into DJing.
That's true. That's a lot of disconnect. Sometimes people have the money, but you don't have enough of it to like, I can just throw it away. Like,
facts.
But nah, I'd rather do this.
Facts. So, a couple years, or I guess probably about a year and a half ago, I was working at this spot with a group of my friends, and there was a situation with a DJ. Me and him was cool. He was like teaching me some things. I actually had a DJ, but then he ended up leaving. And so we didn't have a DJ, and we're trying to run this like hookah lounge. And they was like, well, dude, like, you feel me? If you want to, grab your stuff, go DJ. And so I went and picked up a controller, hopped on YouTube, and I was like, all right, cool, let's learn it. And after that, it was all about the hustle. Like, let's get in front of people, let's go talk to folks. And then when people start hearing you and they hear like, you have decent sets, they're like, okay, let's do this, let's work. And so now it's about just, getting in front of as many people as possible and trying to make something out of it, because it's fun. It's a ton of fun.
You be killing it when you do it. So are you an official DJ for any artist, like a specific artist, or are you willing to do for a specific artist?
So currently I'm an official DJ from 400 North, my boy Remy Lazarus. Hey, my boy the Drake of the South. That boy is going to be one of the hardest cats. And one of the hardest cats that really do hit the sound. His sound is different, but I'm his official DJ. From his first show to like probably pretty much every show he does now, we're together. We got a show honestly tonight. Matter of fact, I'll be in Tuscaloosa. Yeah, I'll be in Tuscaloosa tonight. But I'm his official DJ. My boy C. Lee, who's a crazy artist as well.
Crazy too.
Yeah, once he starts hitting the road stuff like that, I'll be his DJ. And I am open to being artist official DJs. But I mean, I tell anybody, it's got to be a sound. It's got to be like real motion. Otherwise, like. I'm not your homeboy. I don't just support bad music. Yeah. I was a fan of DJs when DJs were the gatekeepers. You talk about coalition DJs, like that type of group. Like when DJs were gatekeepers, you had in the club, in the strip club, in the lounge, you had to go be like, hey bro, play my song. Like Otherwise, nobody in the world is hearing it. And that's where I became a fan of DJs. Like, that's what real DJing is. They were like, okay, well, yeah, I'll play it. You know what I'm saying? I'll blend it and I'll figure out how to make it work if it's a hard song. If not, they like, no, I don't want to hear this. We're not playing this in my set. And so I still try to hold the same deal when I go DJ places. I'm not gonna play everybody's song, but if I listen to it and it's hard through the headphones, yeah, let's let the world hear it.
Yeah, back like when the DJ cosign was important, which it still is.
DJ, when you talk about DJ Drama, Swamp Izzo, like you talk about DJs where like when you hear that tag, they go to the mixtapes and they like, okay, yeah, I'm going to listen to this.
Yeah, like you don't even want to put your own tape out. You want to hop on the DJ's tape because that's what's gonna be heard.
Facts.
That's a fact. So I seen some of the footage from where you be at, man. You be at some crazy shows. What's your biggest show to date though that just sticks out?
Biggest show to date would have to be one I did in Tuscaloosa a few weeks ago.
I seen it. That was crazy.
That show was insane from start to finish. And what's crazy is that show started off bad. So we get there, and of course we go through sound check. We were opening up for B.O.B. And we go through sound checks. Everybody sound check. The opening DJ, DJ Kinsey, shout out girl, she goes and does a sound check. She walks off for like 2 seconds and comes back and her board doesn't work. And so she's like, what in the world? Like, board doesn't work, but she's got this open set. So me and her try to figure it out. We get it, like she used my board, so we get it working. And from that moment on the show, it started off so bad because like it didn't work like not doing sound check. It worked like when the doors were open. People were standing there trying to hear music. Like you got probably 1,000 people, 1,200 people just standing there waiting to hear music, and they looking like,
yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, and so but once we got it taken off and like the rest of the show rocked out, that one, and then I said my first show. My very first show with Remy, I was the DJ for the entire show for my boy Remy, even the open artist, and that one went crazy. And it was maybe 75 people in this box, but you think it was 5,000 the way that thing.
That's the thing. It don't matter how many people in the room. It's the energy in the room,
Facts.
man. It could be 1,000 people. They all sitting there quiet, man. That's a waste of time.
Waste.
You got 10 people in the room, but they all turned up, man. They feel like we having the best time of our lives, man. I like that. So do you specialize in any particular type of music? Like, some reggae DJs or things like that? Do you have a particular style?
Me personally, it's gonna be crazy to say I'm an R&B and early 2000s DJ. I've learned to go anywhere. I play anything from house music, which people don't know what house music is. It's just like, where it's more beats, instrumentals, and like old. You're mixing like old Mary J with like a weird classy beat. I'll play house music. I'm learning EDM. And then of course hip hop and trap stuff. I do like the clubs. I do clubs and lounges in Atlanta. But if you ask me, I'm an R&B and 2000 DJ. That's where music was made. That's how you get people's energies and emotions pulling. And that's what I truly like to specialize in.
Alright. So what's one song, new or old, that you always got to drop in your set? Okay, so one song I've always got to drop is gonna be probably "Love in This Club." Oh,
Usher. Everybody's gonna sing it.
They are.
Every time it's gonna hit. Like every time. And that's something that people like, you know what, when you sit and you go somewhere and like you just out, it's not a song that's at the top of your head, but when you hear it drop, you like... That's
the best thing about a DJ who will like throw a song in there you're not thinking about, but as soon as you hear it, you like, oh, you went here with it?
This
like,
the one.
This the one. I wasn't even thinking about it, but now you done put it on my mind.
Yeah.
I like that answer. So as far as booking, if people need to lock you in, how can they do that?
You can lock me in anywhere on Facebook. You can find me Trey Payne. If you're on Instagram, official DJ SB, or you can find me on my personal page, Mr. Payne 3. If you got my cell phone or anybody knows me, you can always reach out. I'm pretty friendly. I'm always open to bookings, whether it's a small event, weddings, lounges, clubs. I've done shows everywhere from Georgia to Bama. I got bookings in Kentucky and Louisville, so I go pretty much anywhere as long as it makes sense.
Gotta make sense.
Yeah.
Man, you're in the town right now for a community event, man. Just speak to what these type of events mean to you, and for somebody who's moved out of the area to still be coming back and giving back to the community.
So I'd say this, the reason why when it started with the rap sheet, which is crazy, it's a crazy platform. When it comes to things that are in this city, I didn't feel right as a person and even as a DJ to go and be able to DJ in all these other states and cities and not come to the crib and show love. Like, that's just, Like, why would I go DJ everywhere else, but I'm too good to come back to my like hometown and city? Especially when you got clubs, you got lounges, you got community events, you got platforms that go on. Like, let's go get involved in the place that raised you. And even when today, you talk, especially when I've been in Atlanta for so long, and I've got to meet so many different people. Especially my teammates, they have what's called hood days. You go to like West Point, they got a hood day. You got different cities that have what's called hood days, where it's just the whole community come out for a day, and you have car shows, bike shows, you got sets, you got games, you got kids, families, and it's a thing every year. Well, I ain't grow up in that. You know what I'm saying? There was no like one day where the whole you feel where the whole city shut down and everybody come together and cook out and let's have a good time. You bring the kids, you bring the family out. And so for something that's similar to that to take place, y'all can let me get in on it? I'm there.
Yeah, definitely. Probably, not to shade any other DJ, but man, probably one of the most respected DJs around here, man, from the community, coming back, doing things like the rap sheet, man. Because I mean, like, I ain't gonna front, man. You elevated the platform, man. It was the first time they came in. Like, y'all got a DJ on here now? Like, it do add a certain different level of flair to it, man. So, just...
When the rap sheet, because I watched it, so I was like, dude, you got a rap sheet. Even if you don't have, if it's just a quote-unquote DJ to sit there and do nothing, you gotta have a DJ because it's something music related. You gotta have something that fits the ambiance and like the visual eye of what it's supposed to be about. And so that platform's hard. And I'm telling you, man, that rap sheet, artists gotta use that to go connect.
Yeah, and they starting on. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of features. I'm seeing a lot of people start to talk and do things that meeting off the rap sheet. Yeah, like you're important on there because like we may not like a song, but as a DJ who be in the club, you said a few times like maybe I wouldn't personally listen to it, but I throw it on.
I know I can play that.
Yeah, I know I can play that. So that's another like element artists need to know. Like, yo, maybe this ain't an everyday rhyme song, but it might push it to this area, and it might work better than how you currently pushing it.
Man, so. That's telling artists, man. We talk about like how Future got to start. Esco sat and played his music in the club, in the strip club. Almost got fired for it, but that's how he got his start. Because he had a DJ to go push it. Gucci, you had a DJ to go push it. When you got a DJ or somebody that's in front of people that's constantly pushing your music, like that's the way. Nowadays you can go cheat it. You can go stream it 1,000 times on YouTube. You can go, stream it wherever. But when you talk about actually people hearing it, you know what I'm saying? Like, get your DJ to go play in the sets.
That's kind of what we're talking about. Like, yeah, you can be seen a lot, but if there's no impact, it don't really matter. Impact's more important than being seen. As I was saying, one of the most positive members of the community, man. You're inspiring people with your business, with your DJing, and all the great things you're doing. We sat here and acknowledged all those good things. But you know how we end every episode, man. I'm gonna need you to let somebody know. You don't have to know them, of course. You can just see them in passing, working. I need you to give them the flowers, man, so we end out this road door.
Man, and what's crazy is I don't have this for one person. I'll go through a quick list. My man Ben, I mean, shoot, you teach me a different level of the game and the challenge every day, especially when it comes to the business acumen and the business mindset, whether it's insurance or just, getting a new hustle about yourself. On the DJ thing, any DJ that's hustling, and there's tons of guys that go through the list and from the city to even Warner Robins, like, man, there's tons of DJs that I've watched over the years and grown to, love and even support from afar. Any DJ that's getting a hustle on, man, continue to hustle up because I know it's hard. Clubs don't want to pay DJs what they're worth, even though, you feel me, we control the vibes. People don't really understand what it takes when you go to book a DJ. So any DJ that's truly DJing and you love the art and you're perfecting the craft, continue at it. And I personally love it. And I love you for what you do because you're teaching me how to continue on in it, even when it's not easy. Because the bookings, they're not just there every day. Monday through Friday, who needs a DJ for real? Unless you're in a club or a lounge. Even on the weekend, who isn't already locked in? And then my support system. There's a handful of people that support me right, wrong, and different. They really held to the cell, and the love is real, and I love you for it. I appreciate it.
I like any other announcements and things like that. You need
no.
I mean, you on every other video.
Yeah,
so
y'all want no announcements?
If y'all don't know what you got going on by now, I guess you won't know. If you missed it, just watch the next video.
I appreciate you for always having me out, man. You know what I'm saying? You never said no.
I appreciate you for always coming, man. Why would I say no, man?
Come on, man.
You help my views. Why would I say no?
This man here.
Be real. Other than that, though, man, if you don't have nothing else to say, like always, appreciate your time, appreciate everything you do, man, both for me and the community, man. Other than that, we're gonna close out as well.